Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the Pop Culture Effect podcast. Welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show I bring my closest friends together to talk about all of the news happening in our pop culture world around us.
Hello, my name is Gemini, and welcome to the Pop Culture Effect. I'm joined here by some of my greatest friends in the world, Blaze.
What up?
Menace.
Hello.
And Subset.
Heyo.
Robbie finally released me from his editor's hovel, so we'll start with Blaze telling us about some of the newest tragedies here on the YouTube hellscape.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm gonna cry.
Dude, I cried heavily when I saw the video pop up in my feed, and it's just kind of adding on to the list of people leaving. But lately, a lot of people, a lot of big YouTubers that have been very influential to a lot of us are quitting or retiring from YouTube as a whole, or taking a major step back and not uploading as much as they are. I know a few of them, like Tom Scott, Moose Knuckle, Captain Sparkles. At least he's not doing, I think he's still doing music stuff, but he's not going to be doing any more like gaming stuff anymore. Stampy, MeatCanyon. That's a couple of the ones on the list that I had on top of my head. But
actually, never mind. Bobert's gonna be talking about that later, so.
No.
I was gonna say, I'll admit, the only name on there that even sounded familiar to me was MeatCanyon. He was that guy who does the animations, correct?
Yes. His secondary channel, Papa Meat, has been doing better for him, so he said he's gonna be doing that, but MeatCanyon is gonna be taking a back seat. But like I said, Bobbert will be talking about that later.
I understand, like, the tragedy in it and, like, how sad it is, but I guess for me personally, honestly, I feel like it might be for the best. As tragic as that is, with a lot of these YouTubers retiring and taking a back seat or a break and everything, we kind of have to remember a lot of these people were already in their early 20s when they started YouTube, and we were like, what, 10, 12 years old? They're reaching their 40s now. I can kind of understand if they want to, do something else, or they do feel it's just time to take a break from the internet or to just stop entirely. I mean, a lot of these people have probably garnered a pretty big platform that they can retire early and everything, and it's more power to them.
It's definitely reaching a hierarchy switch in YouTube where a lot of these big names are stepping back or retiring, and which is leaving room for like newer YouTubers to take over. But the feel of YouTube for us has drastically changed compared to like the new generation of YouTube.
And that's just the cycle of life, out with the old, in with the new. It's gonna sting, but
Change is bad. Change is terrible.
I know all of us are autistic and we don't like change, but it's an inevitable force of nature that we can't stop.
Yes, we can. I deny it.
But with a lot of, with MatPat, doesn't he have like a kid or two? He probably wants to focus with his family and everything. I understand that.
Yep, leading on to that, the thing that brings us all up is the very sad video we got a couple days ago of MatPat announcing his retirement and handing over the torch of game theory and all of his other sub-channels to his co-workers that he's built on his channel.
And honestly, that's wonderful for him, yet sad that he won't be making videos. I was never really a fan of MatPat, like the game theory. I just never watched them. He was funny and had good content, but honestly, I think he deserves it. As I stated, I'm pretty sure he has started a family. He has a kid or two. I'm not too sure how many at this point.
He has one.
Yeah. Regardless, though, he probably wants to focus on his family, because we've heard of some of these people who have families and still try to maintain a big, powerful presence on social media, and it's just a mess. I'm mostly talking about family vloggers. They should never exist, because that is quick side rant. I hate when people blast their children on social media and make a profit out of them, because they're kids. They can't consent to the fact that their face is being posted on social media. Their words are being posted for everyone to see, their actions, and they have no idea the consequences of what's going to happen. I hate when people do that.
There's a lot of creepos out there.
Exactly. Like my one friend, whenever she posts pictures of her daughter, she either has it's only very safe pictures, and her account can only be seen by like her family and those she trusts. Like, she does very rarely post pictures of her daughter because of that. And I do not blame her, because there are also weirdos out there. So like I just hate when people need to like use their child for social media clout, because you shouldn't be using a child for that.
Yeah.
That's also one of the not that specific thing, but MatPat did bring that up, that like the only time him and his fiance wife, I don't know what Steph is really, but the only time that they really sit down and talk, it's about like business logistics or stuff about the YouTube channel or meetings that are going to happen. And he said that he doesn't want that to be their only communication during the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's also talked about his son, how at this point his son knows the FNAF lore better than he does.
I mean, that might just be a kid thing, because it's really popular with kids. But like, you know, another great example of that is, I think she has started doing actual YouTube videos at one point, but I think she started out in like more like the YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I'm not too sure what her handle is, but I think she goes by Uyen. She is notorious for like German boyfriend, if I recall correctly. The Vietnamese woman who moved to Germany.
I've seen that,
Yeah, recently she also posted a video about how she has hired someone new to help her with the videos, so that way her boyfriend can kind of take a step back, focus on his own job, and, you know, they're not constantly talking about, you know, her YouTube videos, her social media videos and everything, and so they can actually have a relationship. Because at first, yeah, he was with her and he helped her and he did a lot of stuff because he wanted to help, but she realized it was more harming their relationship than anything. I think that's a very good thing when social media stars do that. Social media people, influencers, whatever they're called. I have no idea what they're called. Some of them are stars, but not all of them.
Yeah, this is kind of an off-topic thing, but I wish at least America or even these other places would kind of treat more these influencers or idols kind of more how Japan does, because idols and influencers are like an actual job in Japan. And like, I know it's a job here, but like they have companies and stuff that will set up events for them. They have all these extra stuff in Japan that are set up for these influencers by the actual like state and stuff like that, to where in America everybody's gotta do your own work of the grind.
That's not a sport.
I think it might be just America is still behind in that mindset, and a lot of them are considered self-employed still. And probably only a small fraction are actually with a corporation or company. Not too sure what that could be done to have America like move forward in that, but I think it's mostly like kind of a culture thing, more ingrained.
It could be.
You know, America likes to pretend. It's got that bravado of you pick yourself up from your bootstraps, you work in the coal mine for 50 years kind of deal, you know? Have a real job, be a real man.
Yeah, it turns out that those real jobs you don't even move up in anyway, even though they say you can.
Yeah.
Cough, cough, current job.
And you know.
Any whoosies.
But yeah, I'm happy for MatPat for making this decision so he can be with his family more and move on with his life and kind of take time for himself now after all the years of him building up the game theory brand, I guess I could say.
It's a complete IP at this point.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, and he's still gonna be there as like a CEO-esque
creative lead, I think is the word that he used.
Yeah. So he's still gonna be there. He's just no longer gonna be a part of the videos anymore. He'll still be on like the creative board and whatnot.
I find it funny that he's essentially switching roles with the people that are taking over now, because they're creative leads at this moment.
Yeah, I do think that's kind of funny, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how game theory's gonna change afterwards. MatPat did say that he's gonna be a part of 9 more after today, because they just released an episode here today or yesterday, but after that one there's 9 more recordings that he is a part of, and then they're gonna do a game theory live video as a sending off party for him, and then he's done.
They say 9 more theories, but the way that they're putting it is 9 more weeks of theories, because the timer said 59 days when they first put it up.
Yeah,
but I did want to kind of go over what and who are taking over real quick. So for those that do watch, you'll kind of know what's going on and who's coming in. For game theory, we got Tom, who's always been in like all the FNAF videos and stuff like that. He's a British guy, real funny.
First one he did was one of the Pokemon videos of how strong Pikachu is.
For film theory, we got Lee, who's always very articulate, always goes way deep in even further, sometimes even further than MatPat's gone into these movies movies and stuff to find information about the theories. I'm really happy for him to come in. I've seen the stuff that he's in, love him. For style theory, we got Amy, who is really funny as well. She's been on the Theorist channel a long time. She's practically been taking over style theory even before this all got announced. I think she's been in like every video almost. And then for food theory, we got Sati, who has kind of been leading the same almost as Amy. He's been in every episode. He's very experimental, I want to say, and I don't think articulate is the right word for cooking, but he gets very, can't think of the words.
Come on, words, man. Come on.
It's hard. He's very into cooking. I don't know the better way to say it, but he's got a very, very big, very passionate about cooking and everything related to all the experiments and stuff they're doing. But another thing was that they do have a 5th channel, GT Live, and MatPat said that he will be on there. He will still be the host up until the end of the summer of this year, in which case either Ash, who normally runs the background stuff, watching the chat and stuff for GT Live, she will be taking over. Not sure whether it's going to be as the host or not yet, but we will still have MatPat for a good portion of this year.
I'm a little worried about how the GTA Live's going to do after he's done, because I feel like people watch GTA Live for his reactions.
Yeah, I do think that, but Ash is literally like her whole backstory, air quotations, is that she's a split off personality from Matt's mind because they think very similarly and they have a lot of the same reactions. So if she does take over as host, I think that it won't be that much of a like idealistic change. But I saw in their last GT Live video on the Garden of Ban that Ash is already starting to change up the background and add her own little stuff onto the wall and stuff like that. So, but we will have Matt for a good portion of the year. So all those, there's probably people, don't do this, you can't leave, what are we gonna do without you? No, don't worry, we got him. He's still gonna be there. He also said that he's gonna be showing up sometimes in the background, showing up at special events and stuff like that.
I think he referred himself as Grandpa Pat now.
Yeah, Grandpa Pat.
Give it a minute, guys. The next FNAF game
Grandpa.
is gonna come back. Gonna come back for the next FNAF game.
And like, even if he just shows up on the couch or something, or shows up in the videos, like, just be like, hey, I'm here to talk about this just for a little bit. Like, I'm perfectly fine with that. Even if he doesn't, but like, I feel like you said, Subset, I feel like he's gonna show up for FNAF stuff, or the stuff that really involves how, even stuff that he like
Talk about it, get the juice.
Yeah, the stuff that he normally talks about and stuff like that. At least until it's fully transitioned over.
Being fanboy instead of being critical.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how things go, and I'm curious on if we're gonna get any more YouTubers announcing their retirement or quitting after all these.
I hope not.
Yeah, it seems like it's becoming a bit of a domino effect, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it is just the start of 2024, so
And a lot of stuff has already happened.
yeah, a lot's happening so far. But let's move on to. Why am I f***ing up on this? Wow, now it's my turn to f*** up on something. Wow, I see how it
I'm
is.
sorry.
You Subset, it's contagious.
You're welcome. You're appreciated.
Subset, wanna tell us about a game that came to Xbox that we've all been addicted to ever since?
What are you talking about? You mean the game called Baldur's Gate 3? Nah, man, I can't.
Yes, the game where it has sucked our lives away for the past
I'll use mine for a
month.
little bit.
What's that game about?
Yeah, what's that game about? Is that like is that Spider-Man?
But yeah, it finally came to console after it being out for PC for what? Almost a year? Not even a year?
Well,
roughly,
it's
if you don't want the beta.
It was on PS5 for a while next to PC, but it just now came to Xbox.
I've been loving it. I actually haven't, because of my work schedule, I haven't been able to play it nearly as much as everybody else here. But I have been having so much fun with it. I made
It's so good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I made my tiefling, made my little sylphin guy, and I've already, even in the little bits that I played with Subset and Blaze, I've been like, hey, I got this door unlocked. They're like, what? Wait, you unlocked the door? Yeah, first try.
I hate how they don't have crossplay yet.
I can't wait for them to actually do it.
One day.
I know. That's the nice thing about it. It doesn't matter if you've played the shit out of it. You can always do. People are still finding new things, even without even things that aren't added from like the hot fixes and updates. People are still finding new things that came with the game.
Yeah, like even now, I'm still going through the first act. I barely touched like the Underdark. I'm just saying names because it's been out for this.
I haven't even made it to the druid camp yet.
Jesus, really?
I've been wandering around the first area just collecting
And he did
stuff.
say he doesn't really have a lot of time to sit down and try it.
Well, that's fair, but I'm also not surprised because who did I say was going to be the person where, you know, we're doing story stuff or we're in fights and he looks up and he's just like, wait, what happened? As he's got like, as he's being weighed down by like 30 silver plates and he's got like a fork and a goblet in his hands.
This won't be spoilers, but you know when you get when you meet a Styrian and there's those lock boxes next to him?
Yeah.
When I was playing with Subset and Blaze, I accidentally picked up one of the boxes and put it in my inventory. And I was like, hey guys, look what I can do. And it just into my purse. And then I had like 60 weapons and I just put it into that box just to free up inventory space.
I mean, it's one thing you can do.
One day I'm just gonna have like boxes in my inventory just to build a fort.
What I don't like is that you can't not don't like, but you can't have boxes. You can put boxes into your storage like at your camp and stuff, but you can't have stuff in those storage boxes. So you can put empty boxes in your camp storage, but you can't put boxes full of stuff into your camp storage.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing, but to be fair, I don't pick up boxes.
It was just the one.
You do pouches.
One thing I think is interesting though is that it came to Xbox the night of the Game Awards, but Larian Studios was so rushed when giving their award for Game of the Year that they completely forgot to say that it was coming to Xbox that night because they were rushed to get off stage.
I still find it hilarious that apparently Microsoft passed Baldur's Gate up for the Game Pass because I think it was brought up to them and they're like, nah, we don't see it as that well of a seller, so they passed it up.
Oh, that sucks.
What?
We wouldn't have had to pay for it.
Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
That's so dumb.
Well, that's how it goes. You know, it's the same thing what happened with the Elden Ring. They didn't believe Elden Ring was going to be a success, and
Microsoft, get your head in the game.
I think it's more because Microsoft, even from the beginning, has always been based on like multiplayer games. Well, the big ones, Halo, Call of Duty, all those have been the ones that have like made the staple for Xbox. So like these single player story driven games, single player air quotations, aren't ones that they see as are going to be like the main focus for their community.
But that's the problem. They started off with the campaign, with Halo campaign, and then, you know,
and then we got Infinite
campaign, all that shit. Like going through it has been an experience. At least we got our hands on it, but it is sad that we couldn't have it sooner because they didn't believe in it. Boy, was that a regret.
Well, it wasn't necessarily that. I think at first it was because of the fact that they were having issue doing split screen on the Series S, so they were waiting to release it until they could get that resolved, but they just got to the point where we were like, you know what, screw it, we just need to get the game on here.
So as a little warning, there is a bit an unprecedented problem occurred when it came to console. At least the hardware of both consoles, at least the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, they had some trouble keeping memory. So people have been losing some memory and saves and shit. So
it also has a limited amount of saves you can do compared to PC, where you can do an infinite amount of saves almost.
Okay, never mind. I think I got it wrong. I think it was Larian's idea not to add it to Game Pass because they were afraid it was going to devalue the game. That is fair. I don't blame them in that aspect. Because as shitty as it is, they do have to make profits, and I can kind of understand that.
Oh boy, and did they make
At least they like talk about it. They're not just like leave it there and be like, oh yeah, it's not on Game Pass, and everybody's just asking why.
Yeah, apparently it was because they were afraid it would like devalue the game. And honestly, that's a completely valid reason not to have it on the Game Pass. That honestly is. Mm-hmm. It's a massive game and it is worth its price point. Honestly, I don't blame Larian for that. I don't blame them at all. They are a much smaller company.
I did want to ask for the people that are more into the like looking into the stuff. They said that they're not going to do any DLC or anything, right? Is there?
I doubt it. Larian's not known for DLC.
Like, I feel like they should at least do maybe like a patch or something, or like an update to add more of the races and maybe even like catch it up to 5e now. Because I know it's like it's set as like the base 5e when 5e first started.
A couple tweaks to it, but it like they don't have stuff from like Tasha's changes. Like Ranger is still how it was base 5e. It doesn't have the changes that made it good from Tasha's, but it's kind of a mixture. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff is mostly base 5e.
Yeah. Apparently, back in August, the Baldur's Gate 3 team are thinking of changing their minds because they're not ready to move on from it. So it is possible this might be one of the few games where Larian does decide to come out with extra content, which I don't know. If they do extra content, I could definitely see them doing more, like adding, as you said, stuff from other expansions. One thing I could probably see them doing is because the Githyanki, however the you want to pronounce it, the Gith are a core portion of the story. They could maybe do something with Spelljammer, which was released, I believe, a year and a half ago, if not, where it does expand more on stuff about like the astral plane and everything and the creatures and such. And I think that's what expanded the Gith recently. I could see them maybe dipping their toes into Spelljammer. They probably won't do anything maybe that has to do with like Eberron or Magic or like Magic the Gathering, considering that's kind of already owned by another, big papa. So they probably have to talk. But to be fair, I'm not too sure because they're all kind of interconnected because there are Magic the Gathering cards for the Baldur's Gate companions.
It's all owned by Wizards of the Coast, so it's all just kind of one big multiverse. Yeah,
it's all just one big thing. So I would like to see a lot of this. I would love to see the Circle of Stars Druid subclass because that's one of the best subclasses. But I do feel that that would be kind of one DLC expansion path that they could go would be to add more classes, more races.
I want Hexblade Warlock. I'm mad Hexblade Warlock is in the game.
For story, that one I'm not too sure what they could add unless they kind of do
I've seen that they've done a couple epilogue patches that added a little epilogue story.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not too sure what they could do for DLC because they wouldn't necessarily go the Dragon Age Inquisition route where the final DLC that they released was an epilogue DLC that then would opened up to what would slowly happen in the fourth game. Please God, Dreadwolf, come out soon. Anyway, they could do that, but there's no reason to do an epilogue one. They could do, with other games, the one that's coming to mind would be with Dark Souls, where you kind of get to a certain point and then you can do this additional story. But with how seemingly on a time crunch you are with the main story of Baldur's Gate, I'm not too sure what they would have planned unless they're little things.
You're not,
but you kind of are.
Video game time crunch.
Yeah, a video not a Dead Rising time crunch, not like that, but a narrative. You're on a narrative time crunch,
Oh, okay.
Doesn't feel
narrative. It's not.
Because the whole big thing about games is replayability. Obviously, obviously you have the different classes and stuff, but once you complete the game and know the story, what else is there really for you to do?
That's kind of where I'm at with the game because I love it dearly. Like I said, one option could be maybe to add new companions, and these DLCs can be little extra quests and maybe a little extra area you go to recruit these new companions into your story because a lot of RPGs do that, so they could do that where it's oh hey, here's a bard that we've decided to add, and if they do add other classes, they could be here is a what's that? Blood Hunters. That one's kind of a weird one. Because it's not official, but it is, but it isn't. The Blood Hunter's weird, but here's a Hexblade Warlock that you can recruit here in the.
Here's an ASMR.
Yeah, here's a Hexblade Warlock that you can recruit in this extra portion of the Underdark. Near the end, they could be all here is X, Y, and Z not bugbear. Changeling, or what are they again? I think it's Changeling, right? I think that's a race, yeah. God, I just want to see Genasi. I'd love to see a Genasi.
I want to see a Kobold.
I won't say anything.
I want to see ASMR. I also want to see maybe Goliath.
Goliath would be cool. So I'm going to stop there because it's heavy spoilers.
I just really want to. I just really want to see them do new races. I want to see them do want to see them do essentially catch up to the races that are canonically or that aren't homebrew in 5e. I want to see the Aesmar, I want to see the Goliaths, I want to see the elephant people.
I think with some of them, and granted it is a big multiverse, but they are on the plane of Faerun. So granted they do want to stay in what is canonically on Faerun. So I don't know if the elephant people are.
Loxodons, I don't believe are.
No, but I think the cat folk are.
G-Taz wears.
Yeah, I want to say they are, but a lot of the other races came with bigger or other expansions that were like part of the multiverse. So you have to think of what is on Faerun. And granted, you can go with, the Gith. Basically, it is confirmed that, the Gith are like, we jump planes all the time and everything. There is more to this than your Faerun and everything. Like they do, it is confirmed both in the game and in D&D itself, but you have to think of what is canon and what is like native to Faerun. And I don't think the Loxodon are, and some of the other races I don't think are, but others like, I think the Goliath are. Yeah, because I think you can play as a Goliath in the one adventure where you're up in the north. Oh my god, the one where you're up Icewind Dale. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure you can play as a Goliath in Icewind Dale. So Goliaths are canon to Faerun and everything. Asimir are because they're one of like the core, not like core race, but like core base game races, but they are like a core rare race. Does that make sense?
I also would like to see if they could implement a system where you can like do half races, like how you can in D&D. You could just kind of pick 2 races, and
that one I would see being a little, I don't want to say difficult, but it would take a while to properly code.
It'd be very complicated. Not to mention that would completely change their customization thing.
Yeah, they would pretty much have to overhaul the character creation, but that would be nice because I do like that, because I always hated how like half elves or half orcs, it was like they're orc and human, or half elf is elf and human. Like no, what if this half orc, it was Papa got a little frisky and he was a gnome.
Oh no.
One thing I think would be really cool Baldur's Gate did, which would have been a nice Magic reference, is if they had one of like the big planeswalkers from Magic the Gathering like appear in the game.
Yeah.
Have Jace just teleport in, like he accidentally does sometimes. How the did I get here?
Nerds, I don't do magic.
Yeah, like I think that could, and maybe they could add that with like a DLC, like a Magic mixed one. Like they have like a new companion could be a planeswalker.
I would just like to see him show up, just like you go into a tavern or something and he's just like there, like Jace is just there, sitting there at the bar. You can have like interaction with him. I don't know, like even if it's just like NPC characters that are like, you can have a conversation with them. It's like a little Easter egg. I'd love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, one thing I think could be an interesting addition is that one dragon guy that's the leader of one of the like people in the Magic, in Eberron, I think. What's his name? Blaze, you probably know. Oh, he's the leader of one of the groups in the Eberron universe, I think. Is it Eberron that's the Magic universe?
Eberron's D&D. Eberron was its own book.
Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking of not Eberron. Is it Ravenloft? Strixhaven. Is it that one?
The one with the magic schools, and each dragon was the headmaster of each one of the schools.
It was the one that like your campaign was based off of. That was
Ravnica,
that one. That's why I thought Ravenloft for a second, because it had an R. Ravnica.
Yeah, with Niv Mizzet.
That dude, like, because he's like a big dragon, like maybe one of like someone who works for him. Does he have planeswalkers that like work for him? Maybe, I don't know.
Not necessarily work for him, but there are a few planeswalkers that are higher up in Ravnica, like
basically
status,
I guess. Basically what I'm saying is like, you stumble across one of these planeswalkers from like the Ravnica thing, and it's like, oh, Eben, Skeben, Meben, Fafeben. I'm using gibberish I'm basically using gibberish to avoid any form of spoiler, considering I know like 100 most of the story and everything. So, it's just like, hey, help. And they're like, it's like, oh, I know someone who could help. And then they find out what's wrong. And they're like, oh, maybe not. This is a little too out of their hands. And then they just dip. Something like that. That'd be like a nice little Easter egg. Mm-hmm. I am employed by Dritz or whatever the his name is. Dritz is someone else, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
I'm rambling.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine. All right, who's next is going to be on the ramble? Huh?
Me. So lead me off in Subset.
Put me on the spot. I wasn't ready.
I want to know how you're going to do this segue.
I don't. You know, we go for an MMORPG that people couldn't grasp for a good bit until you play it, and we're going down what the hell YouTube is going on.
He definitely should have had years for after.
Yeah, in hindsight, Robbie should have had Gemini's topic be after mine because they were both revolving around YouTube.
Yeah, that one's on me. You know, I didn't notice it at the time. You know, it's been pretty tiring being locked in this dimension for eternity with no way out. But, you know, I'm only human.
Moving away from something that gives us joy into something that brings us the utmost dread and, you know, unending despair. A wink at a new League of Legends item. Anyway, so YouTube apparently is beginning a new wave of slowdowns for users who have ad block enabled. And I'm pretty sure almost all of us who utilize a PC, I think phones can use it too, but I'm not 100% sure. We probably use a form of ad block, don't we? I know I do.
I have used
I don't, but that's because
so
I know. I just know that ads are like the main source of revenue, so I'll just go through them just because I don't know.
I know they are.
I've done YouTube for a minute.
I understand that, and I do know it is like a big thing. It's for revenue. It helps a lot of the creators on YouTube, but like it throws me out. Like it breaks everything in my brain when an ad, like I'm listening to a video and then an ad plays and it just like disrupts my mood.
Especially if you're doing like a montage of music too.
Oh yeah,
Well, I'm a
especially.
groove.
But,
He threw off the Emperor's Groove.
I'm gonna move this over here so that way I'm not having to lean weird. So apparently, yeah, YouTube has been slowing down their entire website whenever it senses that ad blocks are being used, and you know, it's been a while. People have been using ad blocker for years on YouTube, and apparently, avoiding ads is a violation of the terms of services for YouTube. I didn't know that. Oopsie doopsie.
Yeah, that's why they've been going at it for all these years.
I have gotten a lot of like the pop-up videos and everything and all that, but I still managed to like get around it. But that does make sense why it does feel like YouTube has been like a bit slow for me, and that makes a lot of sense. So if you've been noticing your YouTube has been very slow, it probably is because you're using ad blocker. Because then yeah, when you disable whatever ad blocker you're using, it instantly like they're basically hitting a lag switch for you.
That's kind of screwy.
Yeah, basically YouTube is flipping the lag switch onto you.
I can see this only because they've been trying to just like, I don't want to say be neutral about it, but they've kind of just been like letting it go, and like they started doing like the whole ad blocker thing, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago, where they were starting to fully crack down on it. But it not only dips into the revenue for the actual creator, but YouTube itself. All the people that do these deals to get their ads on YouTube, that's revenue going out of every avenue.
And again, I understand that, and for me personally, it is very annoying. And you know, maybe it's just me, and the fact of if it doesn't happen to affect my own little bubble, I give absolutely no shits what's going on outside of that little bubble. That may sound a bit selfish and everything, but like I do not care if my views are not paying YouTuber number 58,000 because I have ad block. Again, that sounds terrible of me, but it's a minor annoyance, and I just want to continue living my sad little life on this dying chunk of rock.
I completely agree. Even though I'm the one kind of being devil's advocate here, I completely agree. Ads suck.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being devil's advocate. We always need one of those.
Oh yeah. The main thing that pops into my head, and I'll actually be talking about this in the next episode, but YouTube barely makes any money, because they're paying all these content creators, streamers, whatever you're doing on YouTube. They barely make any money, just like Twitch. Twitch hasn't made a singular profit since the site started because they're paying so many. It's to the point to where either something's gonna have to change like drastically, or we're just gonna get 30 minutes of ad on Twitch per hour.
Oof, that's awful.
Yeah, like the only way that the YouTube, Twitch, and all these people can make their revenue back is by putting ads in there.
And I think the main reason I am heavily against these ads is a lot of them are really stupid. I am getting so tired of seeing these really weird like mobile game apps that are like starting to dip into fetish territory. It's actually really fucking weird.
The whole isekai like ad that I've isekai game.
Isekai Soul Life is actually a good game.
No, it's not. I downloaded it and it looks like it's nothing but a harem idol game, and it weirded me out, and I uninstalled it after after 5 hours because
it's a sim game.
I was looking at all of the family members you can recruit, and it's all just big titty waifus. Yeah, the family members you can recruit and everything.
That's
and
the whole,
I was like, this is
the
weird.
whole point of the game, though.
I can really easily see who it's marketed towards, and I am not one of those people, because the moment a slave girl appears who's also a dog and all she's dressed in is a thin white cotton drape, I was just like, oh, I see who this game is meant for.
Yeah, it's meant for people who like, and I'm gonna rag on it because I don't really like them. It's ragging on. It's made for isekai people, and what are isekais? More than half of them are harem anime.
Ugh, I hate harem animes. They're one of the worst forms of anime.
See, if it's not completely centered around it, I can understand. But if the protagonist's charisma stat is just mega high for some reason, shit happens.
That's why I never I like High School of the Dead. Quick off turn, but also not. But when the moment it turned into a harem anime alongside of being a zombie apocalypse, I was just like, this is stupid. Homeboy is literally a piece of rye bread, not even rye bread. He is basic Walmart brand of white bread loaf, and he's pulling all these bitches except the pink-haired girl. See, he pulls her for lit second, but then Guns Akimbo comes in, and she then is just like, you know what? I like how you know so much about military tactics and you know how to fire a gun. Nice.
Nice. I'm trying to think of one that does it well, but okay, so there's this one that is actually very, very seems like a stereotypical anime, but in the background it's got a really good story. It's called Heaven's Lost Property. Don't know if any of you know it.
I feel like I've heard you mention that one.
That one's so stupid.
It's stupid, but it's one of those funny harem ones where it plays off the pervertedness with humor, and I don't know. Different strokes, different folks, but I don't know. Yeah. I find it good. It's got a really good story about they're called angeloids, or angel android things. Got a really good story about that in the background.
It's one isekai anime that I recently watched, and I think it's time to refer it to our once a month anime, so it means we need to watch another episode here soon. The one where it's getting turned into a vending machine. That one was that one's so weird and dumb. Becoming
a vending machine in a dungeon or something like that.
Yeah, I think one of you guys mentioned it to me, so
Ro told me about that actually.
Yeah, so we watched it, and we were just maybe this is a once a month thing, and it's January, so maybe we need to watch our fourth episode of I Became a Vending Machine in a Dungeon.
Did you get to the Mentos part yet?
Yes, that was last month's episode.
I want to watch the Suicide Squad isekai anime that's coming out. I want to see how that one does.
Speaking of anime, Menace, what do you have about the 2024 anime lineup this year? Give us the rundown. Shotgun them off. Okay,
so what I found is something that gives us by month, or by season, I guess you could say. So for winter, we got Classroom of the Elite Season 3. Yes. Bottom tier character Tomozaki, second stage. Gushing Over Magical Girls. Ishura, Delicious in Dungeon, which is a cooking anime set in a dungeon that I'm actually kind of interested in.
Really good.
It actually started. A bunch of these have actually started so far.
I feel like anime is getting to a point where a lot of newer animes that are coming out are very out there with their ideas.
It's because everything's been done, so they gotta what genres can we mash up and still have a good following for?
I don't really care. I like the same things. I like the same tropes. I just like to see how they do it. Some animes are just not it.
But we got Unchained Soldier, which came out on January 4th. Unwanted. A lot of these I'll kind of mention when it stops, because this came out at the beginning of the year. Obviously, we're 2 weeks in. We got The Unwanted Undead Adventurer, The Demon Prince of Momochi House, Pa no Michi, Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, which sounds funny. Sasaki and Peeps, Solo Leveling just came out. That was a Webtoons comic, which is actually pretty good.
I want them to animate Unordinary so bad.
I want them to animate I'm the Grim Reaper so bad, but we're never gonna get it. The Attack on Titan Final Chapters Part 2 is on January 6th. Kingdom Season 5. Apothecary Diaries Part 2. Mashley Magic and Muscles.
Apothecary Diaries is so good.
Oh yeah.
A Sign of Affection. Blue Exorcist. A new saga is coming out for that, or just came out for that.
Blue Exorcist.
It's called Shimane Illuminati Saga.
Interesting.
The Strongest Tanks Labyrinth Raid. The Tale of Wedding Rings, The Dangers in My Heart Season 2, Seven Time Loop, the villainess enjoys carefree life married to her worst enemy, Banished from the Heroes Party Season 2, Tis the Time for Torture, High Card Season 2. There's so many, dude. Like,
This is a long list.
This is still, this hasn't even hit up to where we are now in January.
What?
Yes, there is a ton more. Villainous level 99. I'm just kind of scrolling as I'm going through because this list is going to take way too long. Ragna Crimson Part 2, Fire Hunter Season 2, Legend of Supernormal Professor. Instant Death ability is so overpowered. Mr. Villain Days Off. Pokemon Horizons is coming to Netflix in February. We finally got out of January. Great Pretender Rasbiluto on February 23rd. And in spring, some of the ones we got: Kaiju number 8, Quality Assurance in Another World, Bartender Glass of God. Time I got reincarnated as a slime Season 3 is coming out in April. I was reincarnated as a 7th princess. Laid Back Camp Season 3, Fable. Another reincarnated one as a reincarnated aristocrat. I will use my appraisal skill. Demon Slayer, the Hashira training arc is starting in sometime in spring.
Yes.
Black Butler Public School arc is starting in April. Vampire Dormitory, Studio Apartment Good Lighting Angel included. My Hero Season 7 is coming out on May 4th.
Hell yeah.
Ew.
What do you mean?
How dare you?
It's overrated.
It is overrated.
It is not, especially where they are now. I would have
This
said
part of
that
the story-
until Season 6.
Yeah, this part of the story is where shit gets real.
If you would have watched the end of Season 6, your mind would change, I'm telling you. It's not, they're not acting like kids anymore. They're actually starting to take up the roles as heroes, and even the villains have started to get serious too. Like, semi-spoiler, Shigaraki's transformation at the end of Season 6 literally made him from one of my least favorite villains to one of my top villains. We also got, I hate all of you.
Hey, what did I do?
Not you. We're hive mind. I can't hate you. Code Geass Rosen Recapture is coming out in May.
Yes.
The Duke of Death and His Maid Season 3 is coming out in April.
Yes.
The Irregular at Magic High School Season 3 is coming out in April. Girls Band Cry. Don't know what that is.
I'm saying girls band cry. Come on, dude. Get with the page.
Yeah. And nothing has actually been fully confirmed for summer. For fall, we got Dandadan, the Prince of Tennis, U17 World Cup semifinal. What the hell are some of these names?
Don't worry about it. Keep going. It's just an anime.
And The Blue Wolves of Mibu is coming out in fall.
Mibu.
The last part of the list that I could find is some movies coming up, which is pretty cool. We got Haiku, The Final Battle at the Garbage Dump, Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom. We got Sandland coming out. We have another My Hero movie coming out in Japan in summer. Mononoke. Blue Lock episode Nagi. Julia Magi Modica Magica.
Oh, Puella Magi Madoka?
Yes, that one. And then the ending of the title is Walpurgi. Oh god, it's something German. I don't know. Walpurgasnacht Rising. Then the last one, you got Kizumono Gatari Koyami Vamp, and that's coming out. Actually, that's a North American anime coming out. There were a lot more that were announced, especially for summer or winter and fall. Oh my god, I can't speak. There are a lot of them coming out for winter and fall that have been announced. If you want to check out the full list, it'll be in the description for YouTube. If not, if you're watching or listening to this on the podcast itself, it is at animecollective.com. There is the full list there. You can go and check it out if you want.
I know for me, the one anime, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same for you, Menace.
Oh yes, I forgot to mention it, and I believe this is what you're bringing up. Part 3 of the 1,000-Year Blood War is coming out as well.
No exact date yet, but it was announced it will be this year. I'm gonna be expecting probably spring.
I actually thought this was part of the list, so I'll kind of add this because these are TBA animes, and there's a lot of some in here that are actually very high profile. And we got Beastars, the final season. Got The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash. Haigakura, I've heard some stuff about that. The Misfit Demon King Academy, 1,000-Year Blood War, like we said. Sword of the Demon Hunter, that one actually looks really cool. We got A Journey Through Another World, an Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf, Chillin' in Another World with Level level 2 super cheat powers. Those are just some of the ones that are to be determined.
I see.
But yeah, there's a lot coming out. So anime people, we're gonna be eating good this year.
Oh yeah.
Man, I believe that actually does it. Besides, Bobbert will be adding his thing in.
Now, like Menace said at the beginning of this episode, there was one YouTuber that has seemingly retired or partially retired that I want to talk about, and that is MeatCanyon, Hunter Hancock. And this gentleman by far is one of my favorite animators on YouTube. MeatCanyon is a channel where he takes classic animated shows and makes very twisted, very avant-garde animations about it. I think his content really shows a growth of effort and a growth of overall quality. However, recently he has come out and said that he is taking a short break from his MeatCanyon channel. His reasons are that he just wants to focus on what kind of content he wants to make, try to make a little bit better quality content, and that's why he is mostly focusing on his Papa Meat channel, where he's doing kind of JonTron-esque videos where he's talking about subjects. And I still love his content, and I hope he's able to come back to MeatCanyon when he feels he is ready to make that kind of content again. It's a crazy time with all the YouTubers that are leaving, and all the global landscape of YouTube has definitely changed and is going to keep changing as we keep going. But yeah, here's hoping that Papa Meat can come back to his OG channel and create some great content. All of the effort and all of the future projects that Hunter wants to create. And speaking of great quality content, I'm going to give it back to my friends as they wrap up this episode.
I believe that does it for what we have for this episode. Am I taking this out?
You could.
So for all those listening on CJSW, thank you. And all those watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will be seeing you next episode. I'd like to say thank you to everybody joining us here today. Thank you, Blaze.
Anytime.
And thank you, Trin.
A pleasure as always.
And thank you, Subset.
Heyo.
And don't forget to check out the other channels on CJSW. And we will see you in the next one.
Please come back.
Bye.
Please come back.
Recording is starting now. Whenever everyone is ready, we can begin.
I'm Artie.
You ready, Angel?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright.